Ojazi's face. They were confused on what to do, but Ifoma, before her husband could speak, told the strong medicine man that she was ready to do it, inasmuch as her daughter will be healthy, but only lose her hair and her teeth. Ojazi and Ifoma both left and went back home. When they got home, Ojazi, her husband, once upon a time, in a village named Oruku, there lived a couple named Ifoma and Ojazi, who newly got married. They were deeply in love and their marriage was a celebration of love and promise. But before their marriage, Ifoma told Ojazi that there was a generational curse that runs in their family and every first male child is always paralyzed. But if they are lucky to give birth to a female child first, before giving birth to a male child, then the rest of the children will be fine and not paralyzed. Ojazi, who was a little shocked, looked at Ifoma and smiled at her. He said, "Ifoma, don't worry. If we give birth to a female child first, the gods be praised. But if we give birth to a male child, then we are going to find a solution. For every problem has a solution." Soon after their marriage, Ifoma discovered she was pregnant. Their hearts swelled with happiness as they eagerly awaited the arrival of their little bundle of joy. But at the same time, Ifoma and Ojazi were a bit worried. They hoped and prayed the child would be a baby girl. During Ifoma's pregnancy, her husband showered her with a lot of love and care, providing everything she needs and making sure she's comfortable. Days turned into months, and Ifoma's stomach kept on protruding. Soon, the day for the baby's arrival came, and Ifoma gave birth to a baby boy. Ifoma, looking at her baby, and her eyes filled with tears. Ojazi, who was also in tears, secretly wiped his tears and went close to Ifoma. "My love, please wipe your tears. We shall go through this together and figure out a solution." The next day, Ifoma's mother came to visit her and the baby and found out that it was a baby boy. She said to Ifoma, "My daughter, you know about our family's generational curse, that every first male child is always paralyzed. But to save ourselves from the stress of having to care for them, we just give them ogirisi herbal poison and they die peacefully. Ifoma, take this ogirisi and give it to him." Ifoma, with worries on her face, then said to her mother, "Mama, if you all kill your firstborn male child, I won't kill mine. I refuse to do such evil acts. I and my husband will figure out how to break the curse." Ifoma's mother then laughed at her and left the house, muttering some words and saying, "Let me see the magic you will do to your paralyzed baby and make him healthy." Ifoma and Ojazi named their son Agunnaya. Their home echoed with the laughter and cries of their newborn. However, as Agunnaya grew, he struggled to perform even the simplest of tasks. He couldn't crawl or lift his head like other children of his age. Concerned, Ifoma and Ojazi decided to sought the advice of a strong medicine man in their village. Ojazi told Ifoma it is better they act fast and find a solution to their problem instead of watching Agunnaya suffer in pain. The next day, Ifoma and Ojazi went to the forest to see the strong medicine man concerning their son. When they entered his shrine to consult him, immediately he saw them. He smiled and told them there is a solution to your problem. Ifoma and Ojazi were surprised because they haven't told him the reason why they came to visit him. The medicine man turned and said to Ifoma, "Your son's condition is not a mere ailment, it's a generational curse that afflicts the first male child of every generation in your family." Ifoma nodded her head and told him that she was aware of the generational curse that runs in her family. She said to him, "Nai, I have come to know if there is anything I can do to break the curse. I don't want to kill my son like my mother and other family members do to their firstborn child." The medicine man then said to Ifoma and her husband, "I don't know if you will be able to do what is going to be involved. But the only remedy," the medicine man explained, "is to give birth to a female child and perform a specific ritual to break the curse. But be warned, there are implications attached to it. When you give birth to a baby girl, for the ritual to be performed, all her hair will be shaved off, and her first tooth, which she will grow, will be pulled out also. Once it is done, she will remain bowed and toothless forever. So choose wisely and decide on what to do, either to let your son die or sacrifice your daughter's hair and tooth to make him better." With confusion filled on Ifoma and Ojazi's face, they were confused on what to do. But Ifoma, before her husband could speak, told the strong medicine man that she was ready to do it, inasmuch as her daughter will be healthy, but only lose her hair and her teeth. Ojazi and Ifoma both left and went back home. When they got home, Ojazi, her husband, called her and sat her down to talk to her. He said to her, "Ifoma, why don't we let Agunaya die? Since the curse only affects the first male child, then the rest of the children we bear will be healthy. Instead of using our daughter as a tool for cure and end up making her bowed and toothless, she might grow up and hate us for that." Ifoma turned to her husband and said, "Ojazi, are you telling me to kill my son with that Ogirisi herbal poison my mom brought the other day? I am disappointed in you to hear such thing from you. It's not his fault he's paralyzed. You must do everything in our power to make him healthy. After all, he's our son." "My love," he said to Ifoma, "I am just making a suggestion I think is best. But if you insist on still trying for a baby girl, then I'll support you." Ifoma and Ojazi embarked on a journey of hope and faith. They tried to conceive to give birth to a second child. Ifoma got pregnant again and was very happy. She gave birth to a healthy baby, but unfortunately for them, the baby was a boy. But they were still filled with joy and thanked the gods of their land for giving them a healthy baby boy. Ifoma, after some months of giving birth, started trying again for another baby. With each birth, their anticipation grew, but their hearts sank as they welcomed 3 more healthy boys into their family. Despite their disappointment, they never lost hope. They believed that one day they would welcome a daughter who would bring healing to their beloved Agunaya, who was still paralyzed and was already 10 years old. Soon, Ojazi, Ifoma's husband, was becoming tired. He said to Ifoma, "Bikonu, please, don't you think it's time we stop giving birth and trying for a female child? At least, the gods of our land has given us 4 healthy boys. Let us take care of them and ensure they are comfortable, instead of giving birth to multiple children we cannot cater for." But Ifoma, who was still being persistent, refused to listen to her husband. She told him that she strongly believes that the next baby will be a baby girl. Ifoma's perseverance paid off when at last Ifoma gave birth to a precious baby girl. Tears of joy streamed down Ifoma and Ojazi's faces as they cradled their daughter in their arms. They named her Mma. They cherished and took care of her and waiting for the day she would grow her first tooth so they can take her to the medicine man in the forest to perform the ritual. Soon, Mma grew her first tooth and they took her and Agunaya to the strong medicine man. With the guidance of the medicine man, they performed the ancient rituals. Mma's hair was shaved off and her first tooth was pulled out. And miraculously, as the rituals concluded, Agunaya began to move his legs, hands and neck with newfound strength. The curse that had plagued their family for generations was finally broken. Ifeoma and Ojazi were so happy to finally see their son stand on his feet and do things other of his siblings could do. As the years passed, Agunaya and Mma grew up side by side, inseparable and full of life. They were so attached together. Years passed. Agunaya grew up into a young man, while Mma grew up also. One day, Mma returned from the stream looking sad. She asked her mother why she was bowed and toothless, that other kids at the stream were mocking her and calling her bowed and toothless. But Ifeoma was being reluctant to tell her daughter what really happened in the past. But Ojazi, her husband, told her it is best she tells Agunaya and Mma the truth of what has happened in the past. And that was how Ifeoma told Agunaya and Mma all that has happened. Agunaya felt so bad that he made his sister suffer because of him. But to their greatest surprise, Mma, who they thought will feel bad, was smiling instead. She said to her mother, "Mama, thank you very much for sacrificing my tooth and hair to make my brother healthy instead of killing him." Mama made the decision never to worry herself or listen to people's harsh words towards her. She began to cover her head with a scarf anytime she goes out, and she also reduced the way she smiles and talks outside to hide her toothless mouth. Years passed. Ifeoma and Ojazi's children all grew up. Agunaya was the most successful among them. He owns one of the biggest shops in the village market where he sells African beads. His shop was booming and he had a lot of customers from their village and across. But Agunaya, who was now successful, was a very stingy man. He was so stingy that anytime Mma, his sister, goes to his shop to ask for money to buy foodstuff for their parents, he would always give excuses, saying he had no money. Agunaya neglected his mother, father and siblings. No matter how desperate his family's situation became, he turned a blind eye and a deaf ear. Mma, who was very close to her brother, was unhappy about his character. Even their father Ojazi, who was very sick and needed money to be treated, Agunaya kept on postponing the day he would give them money for his father to be treated. Ojazi called his wife Ifeoma one day and said to her, "Ifeoma, look at your son. The same person we suffered for and made sacrifices for him just to make sure he gets better. He's now turning his back against us. Mma, who was the one who made the sacrifice, has been going to him to ask for help, but he refused to listen to her." Ifeoma, who was only listening to her sick husband, could not speak. Her eyes were filled with tears. Mma, their daughter, who was at the door, heard everything they said. She decided to visit Agunaya and beg him for money. When she arrived at his shop, she saw how customers were trooping in and out. She told Agunaya her reason for coming, but as usual, he still gave excuses, telling Mma that he would give them the money soon. Mma, who had given up so much for Agunaya, felt a deep sense of betrayal. She said to herself, "At least, if he doesn't want to help, why not use because of me who has sacrificed a lot and have a second thought to help our dying father?" Mma began to generate hatred towards her brother Agunaya. When Mma returned home, she was welcomed with the bad news that their father was dead. Mama was so unhappy and wept bitterly. She vowed never to forgive Agunnaya. One day, Agunnaya, on his way to his shop, fell to the ground and could not move his legs nor his neck. He was paralyzed again. The generational curse returned. Ifoma, his mother, was informed what has happened, but Umma, on hearing the news, was not moved one bit. Ifoma, their mother, rushed to Agunnaya's house to see him and asked what has happened. Despite losing her husband because of Agunnaya, Ifoma held no grudge against her son. She consoled him and assured him to find a solution. Ifoma went back to the strong medicine man who has performed the ritual many years ago to cure Agunnaya. She explained everything to him, and he told her that the curse returned as a result of Umma, her daughter, generating hatred towards Agunnaya. He said to her that her love for him has been what kept the curse away from him, that the only way for Agunnaya to be healthy again is to plead for forgiveness. Ifoma returned back home and told Umma everything the strong medicine man told her and pleaded to her to forgive her brother and love him again the way she used to. But Umma's heart was hardened. She turned and said to her mother, "Mama, do you know the pain I go through every day because I am bald and toothless? I hardly eat what I want because I have no teeth. Throughout my life, anytime I go out, I cover my head with a scarf." Mama's voice was filled with so much pain and her eyes filled with tears. "Mama, I don't have any friends. I isolate myself from people. But despite all the pain I go through, for one day, I never regretted you people's decision in using my hair and my tooth for sacrifice just to make Agunnaya cured. And I still love him more compared to my other siblings. But this is how he chose to pay us back. He turned his back against us after he became wealthy and allowed Papa to die." Ifoma, who was already weeping profusely, knelt down to beg Umma to forgive and let bygone be bygone. But Umma refused and left the room. Agunnaya's younger brothers neglected him, and he found himself isolated and helpless. In his hour of need, he realized the errors of his ways. He understood the immense value of family and the love they had shown him. He pleaded for forgiveness, particularly from his sister, whose sacrifices he has taken for granted. Agunnaya kept on crying like a baby on his sickbed and demanding for the presence of his sister. Finally, Mma's anger subdued and she decided to visit Agunnaya. When she saw him, he was so happy and delighted. He began to plead for forgiveness. Mma, despite the pain and betrayal, found it in her heart to forgive him. Her love once again proved to be his salvation, and with time, Agunnaya became normal again. The whole family became reunited again and lived happily. The lesson of this story is that we should never take the sacrifices others make for us for granted, and to always extend help to those in need. Wealth and success fades, but bonds of family and the love they offer are eternal. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.